Heaven and Hell. Writings in Heaven. 258. Because the angels have speech, and their speech consists of words, they also have writings, and by writing as well as by speech they give expression to what is in their minds animus. At times I have had sent to me papers, with writings made on them exactly like manuscripts and also like those printed in the world. I was able also to read them in the same manner, but was not allowed to draw from them more than one or two ideas, for the reason that it is not in accordance with divine order for man to be taught by writings from heaven, but only by the Word, since by that alone there is communication and conjunction of heaven with the world, thus of the Lord with man. That papers written in heaven were seen also by the prophets is shown in Ezekiel. When I looked, behold, the hand was put forth by the Spirit unto me, and a roll of a book was therein which he unrolled in my sight. It was written on the front and on the back. Visa 2, 9, 10. And in John I saw upon the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within and on the back, sealed up with 7 seals. Red 5, 1. 259. The existence of writings in the heavens is a provision by the Lord for the sake of the Word in its essence being divine truth, from which is all heavenly wisdom, both for men and for angels. For the Word is dictated by the Lord, and what is dictated by the Lord passes through all the heavens in order and terminates with man. Thereby it is adapted both to the wisdom in which angels are and to the intelligence in which men are. Thereby, too, the angels have a word, and read it just as men do on earth. From it they draw their doctrinals, and from it preaching takes place. It is the same word, but its natural sense, which is the sense of the letter with us, does not exist in heaven, but the spiritual sense, which is its internal sense. What this sense is can be seen in the small work on the white horse described in Revelation 260. Once there was sent to me from heaven a little paper on which were written only a few words in Hebrew letters, and it was said that every letter involved arcana of wisdom, which were contained in the inflections and curvatures of the letters, and thus also in the sounds. This made clear to me what is signified by these words of the Lord. Verily I say unto you, until heaven and earth pass away, one jot or one tittle corneculum shall not pass away from the law. Matt 5:18. That the word in every tittle of it is divine is acknowledged in the Church, but where the divine lies hid in every tittle has not yet been known, and therefore will be told. In the inmost heaven the writing consists of various inflected and circumflected forms, and the inflections and circumflections are in accordance with the form of heaven. By means of these, angels express the arcana of their wisdom, and also many things which they are unable to express in spoken words. And, what is wonderful, the angels know this writing without training or teacher, it being implanted in them like their speech. Therefore this writing is heavenly writing. It is implanted because all extension of thoughts and affections and consequent communication of intelligence and wisdom of the angels proceeds in accordance with the form of heaven. And for the same reason their writing flows into that form. I have been told that the most ancient people on this earth, before letters were invented, also had such writing, and that it was copied into the letters of the Hebrew language, which letters in ancient times were all inflected, and none of them, as at present, were defined as straight lines. Thus it is that in the word, divine things and arcana of heaven are contained even in its jaws, iota points, apex and little horns, corniculum. 261. This writing in characters of a heavenly form is in use in the inmost heaven, the angels of which surpass all others in wisdom. By means of these characters, they express the affections, from which thoughts flow and follow in order, in accordance with the subject treated of. Consequently these writings, which I have also been permitted to see, involve arcana which thought cannot exhaust. But such writings do not exist in the lower heavens. The writings there resemble the writings in the world, having like characters, and yet they are not intelligible to man, because they are in angelic language, and angelic language is such that it has nothing in common with human languages. For by the vowels they express affections, by the consonants the ideas of thought from the affections, and by the words from these the sense of the matter. Moreover, in this writing, which I have also seen, more is involved in a few words than a man can express in several pages. In this way they have the word written in the lower heavens, and in the inmost heaven by heavenly characters. 262. It is a notable fact that the writings in the heavens flow naturally from their very thoughts, and this so easily that it is as if the thought put itself forth. Nor does the hand hesitate in the choice of a particular word, because both the words they speak and those they write correspond to the ideas of their thought, and all the correspondence is natural and spontaneous. There are also writings in the heavens that exist without the aid of the hand, from mere correspondence with the thoughts, but these do not endure. 263. I have also seen writings from heaven made up of mere numbers set down in order and in the series, just as in writings made up of letters and words. I have been instructed, too, that this writing is from the inmost heaven, and that their heavenly writing, when the thought from it flows down, is presented to the angels of the lower heavens in numbers, and that this numerical writing likewise involves arcana, some of which can neither be comprehended by thought nor expressed by words. For all numbers correspond, and have a meaning, as words have, in accordance with the correspondence, yet with the difference that numbers involve generals, and words particulars. As one general involves innumerable particulars, so numerical writing involves more arcana than writing composed of letters. It was evident to me that in the word the numbers as well as the words signify things. What the simple numbers signify, and what the compound numbers, and others, signify be seen in Arcana Cales 8, where they are dealt with. In that writing in heaven, the number is always prefixed on which those following in a series depend as on their subject. For that number is, as it were, an index to the matter dealt with, and from it is the determination of the numbers following in relation to the particular point. All numbers in the word signify things shown from heaven. Numbers multiplied have the same signification as the simple numbers from which they result by multiplication. The most ancient people had heavenly arcana in numbers, forming the kind of computation of states of the Church. 264. Those who know nothing about heaven, and who are unwilling to have any other idea of it than as of something purely atmospherical, in which the angels fly about as intellectual minds, without the sense of hearing and seeing, are unable to think of their having speech and writing. For they place the existence of everything real in what is material. Yet the things in heaven have as real an existence as those in the world, and the angels there have all the things that are useful for life and useful for wisdom. Next, I will write The Wisdom of the Angels Opus Heaven. Thank you.